And I'm live again. All right, so that was a pretty smooth transition. Hopefully, we get Eric back here in just a second, and we'll start working on this week in the NFL. Let me back up just a second, make sure my sound is working, and we'll take a look. And there we go. So I always like to make sure the mic's working. All right, what a week! Another topsy turvy week, and let's hang on just for a second. Let me pull up some Yahoo while I'm waiting on my buddy. There's Eric. Yeah, no, what a topsy turvy week. It has just stayed that way the last couple weeks, and really we've not talked about parity uh, in a while, but I think that word might sneak back in given the way things are going right now in the NFL with not only with all the upsets, but if you look at the team records, nobody's running away with anything. Uh, I think most of the teams in the AFC have at least 3 losses. Let's see here. It's always, I wish Yahoo, I like their stuff pretty good, but it sometimes finding stuff takes a second. So here we go. Okay, so before we get into the games, I'm going to go ahead and share it. But there are 2 stories that popped up today that I want to talk about real quick. Yeah, the Chiefs. This is a good point. Let's see here. Bring up the games for last week, but there are 2 stories that come up that I just want to hit on just briefly. And Rams cooling off. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, the Rams are one of the stories that I want to hit on. So I got to reading some NFL news this afternoon. Oh, please don't tell me I'm going to start sneezing on live stream. Okay. I hate that too because when I get sneezing, I can't get stopped. Okay, so I'm reading this afternoon about apparently Matthew Stafford's wife got into it with a 49ers fan at the ball game Sunday. She got mad. I think this fan was saying some really derogatory things. I guess knew who she was, maybe. And this woman threw a pretzel at this 49ers fan. And first, can you believe it? The audacity of this woman to throw a perfectly good pretzel at a 49ers fan. I just keep thinking about that pretzel. Probably buttered. Maybe some cheese. It was probably hot. And she throws this pretzel. Then again, if I knew that she was throwing pretzels, if you say bad things about her husband, I would have been there going, Scott, or not Scott. I know it's Scott Stafford. I would have said, Matthew Stafford sucks. Throw a pretzel at me. How dare she waste a good pretzel? And so now I crave a pretzel. I want a pretzel so bad. And I'm not sure where in Louisville to really get a good pretzel. I guess I'll have to work on that tomorrow. Okay, so that's one of the stories. That story about Matthew Stafford's wife wasting a precious pretzel like that. The other story, and this one is comedy gold too. Let's see if I can, because I can't remember the Jets coach's name. Let's see if I can Google it real quick. Let's see, Jets coach. All right, Robert Saleh. So Rex Carroll got on TV and he started in on Robert Saleh. Said, "Hey, don't compare me to him," and blah blah, and just started ranting and raving. I thought they had history. I thought they had beef. How do you get that personal? He was getting really personal about it, and it was like, wow, man, chill. You gotta chill. But all right, so he had his say. Then Robert Saleh says, came back with some sort of rebuke. Then he says, he knows where he can find me. And I gotta say something too. This Robert Saleh looks cut. I don't know, maybe for a coach anyway. I mean, he looks pretty buff. Uh, I don't think Rex Ryan really wants to go there with him. Um, so, but they do. But then the funniest shot come from Saleh's brother. I can't remember his name, but his brother basically said that Rex Ryan just lived off of a good defense that Mangini put together, Eric Mangini, when he was there. And then when he got his own guys, he couldn't do anything. And that may be a legit criticism. But then the funniest shot came afterward. He said Rex Ryan ought to stick to podiatry and eating cheeseburgers. I love it. Oh, geez. Well, one, I don't care for Rex Ryan anyway. Just a blowhard. Don't know what he's really ever done. He sucked with the Jets and he sucked with the Bills. Basically. You know, his dad's famous. Buddy. I didn't really care for Buddy either, but I'll give Buddy credit for that Bears defense. But yeah, and then the fact that Ryan's a foot freak, and I don't know if anybody has ever seen the video of him with his wife with her feet propped up on his car and him talking about her feet, and it was pretty. I mean, I really wish I could unsee that video. So, yeah, Rex Ryan, you ought to stick to podiatry and eating cheeseburgers. All right, now let's get into some football. And yes, I saw this afternoon as well. Joe Flacco is going to be starting against the Jets or the Dolphins, and I have to wonder is is Joe Flacco upping his health insurance? The Dolphins, I think they blitzed the Ravens 37 times the other night. And let me tell you, I loved it. I absolutely loved that game. I had no hope going into it, and I didn't think things were going to be any different after the first two possessions that the Ravens had because Lamar just took them right down the field, got the field goal, took them back down, and at least got them an attempt on another field goal. And I'm sorry, Eric. I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm so sorry. Uh, But yeah, so I thought it was going to be this much of the same uh, with but then the Dolphin defense not only settled down, they got into a groove. I tell you what, I thought they had cloned Javon Holland because every time I looked, there he was running around in the picture, going after, coming off the end on blitzes and Holland was just everywhere. I really think, and I don't know if it's a different scheme, if the problem's a scheme, because I've wondered why we haven't had that. Because with Javon Holland, Xavier Howard, and Byron Jones, name another team that have three cornerbacks that good. Uh, yeah, this is a good point too. Eric says we have four very winnable games in a row. Uh, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so there's my wallpaper that shows up on my other screen as well. And these are what he's talking about. So we've got the Jets on Sunday. A week after that, we've got the Carolina Panthers. Um, then the Giants, who are struggling as well, and then back with the Jets. Those are four very winnable games. Is it guaranteed we'll win them? Oh yeah, 7-7. So that we're 7-7 going into our bye, or we could be. We could be 7-7 going into our bye. Very possible. I really think that is something that they should be playing for. Take one game at a time. Win them. Let's get to that bye, or let's get to that Jets game. Get through that second Jets game with a 7-7 record. Then Then we got the Saints, and who knows what kind of position are the Saints going to be in at that point? Um, I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but you never know from 1 week to the next who's going to be available. So we'll have to see where the Saints are. If we're playing defense like we played, and I don't know that we can maintain the kind of defense we were playing against the Ravens, but if we do that, we can win these games. The Saints are not unbeatable. I don't know if Titans will have Derrick Henry back here or not. If they've got Derrick Henry, that makes that game that much tougher because it's hard. It's going to be hard to blitz like that if with Henry in the backfield. And then we beat the Patriots. I'm not saying that's going to be an easy game because that's what Foxborough. No, that's home. We won in Foxborough week 1. That's a home game. The Patriots struggle in Miami typically, especially in December. Realistically, do I think we can win out? Because I think that's what it's really going to take. We win out, we're 10-7. We drop one of these 3 games, we're 9-8, and I don't know if it might be because nobody's really running away with. I mean, we don't have. I think everybody has at least 2 losses, and I think most teams have 3. So maybe, but we really have to get on a roll. And I don't know that we can do it. So realistically, do I think we'll make the playoffs? Absolutely not. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. The fan in me says, let's just take it one game at a time and see. Let's just take it one game at a time. Especially now, if we run off 4 wins, by this time I'll probably be in a delirium by the time we play the Saints, and I'll be screaming bloody murder. Let's get them. Let's get them. Let's get to the playoffs. But I don't know. This road gets a lot harder, but not impossible. And I don't know. Let's get the. There we go. Well, I keep forgetting which screen my cursor's on. Here we go. That's what I want to do. Patriots are doing pretty solid with the new QB. Makes that Cam decision that outraged some look pretty smart. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Cam was a good fit for them. And I've got a buddy that's a Patriot fan, and I was talking to him before the season even started. I said, I really don't know why the Patriots were hanging with Cam, why they even bothered to have him on the team, because I thought they clearly, especially if you looked after the draft, it looks like Mac Jones is a quarterback of the future. And I saw that, and from what I understand, he had a pretty decent game Sunday. I think he threw for a touchdown and ran for a touchdown, made some history there. So when you look at it, I couldn't figure out what they were doing, because Cam Newton's style is so different from what they would be doing with Mac Jones that it just didn't make sense to me why would you continue, if Cam Newton's your starting quarterback and you're dedicated to him, that's one thing. But if he's coming in and out, then you've really got to change your offensive style you really have to run some really different plays for Cam Newton than you would for Mac Jones. So it just didn't make sense to me. So, him being gone does. So let's look at, how did I do last week? There are a lot of X's there. Oh, man, that's just, we're going to try to forget last week, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what did I get right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What was I, 6 and 7? That's terrible. We're not going to run through all those games. We're just going to start picking again. And this upside down NFL. All right. So what do we got? Tomorrow night, we've got the Patriots and Falcons. Yeah, we're going to go Patriots here. The Falcons I can't figure them out. And they just got blasted last week. Somebody I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who tore them apart, but somebody tore them apart last week. Patriots are playing a lot more solid, I think. Okay, so we agree there, and I am pretty confident about that as well. I just can't trust this Atlanta team, even though they do have the home field advantage. But that Patriot team is getting better. They're not the same one that we beat week 1. Indianapolis at Buffalo. Come on, Buffalo. Too much offense there. We got Baltimore Ravens at Chicago Bears. I like Baltimore here. I don't think they're going to I don't think that the Bears are going to surprise them like the Dolphins did. This is a bounce back game for them, and I'm pretty confident there too. This is interesting. Detroit at Cleveland. Detroit, man, I feel so bad for Lion fans. Their team's so scrappy once, and they really tried to take it to the Steelers. Just can't get that W. On the other hand, they're playing this Browns team that's banged up. I haven't even heard let's see, let me Google Cleveland Browns because I have not heard the status of the running backs. So we know that what we know is that Chubb, I think, is on the COVID protocol list, which all right, so he is on the COVID list, and that was 5 days ago. They're saying he's been ruled out again. All right, so he didn't play against Patriots. We knew that. I don't know how long he's going to be on that. Let's see. So, will Chubb be back? Hunt. All right. So 8 hours ago, Yahoo Sports reported that Kareem Hunt won't be back this week. Let's see. Here's an update on Nick Chubb. It looks like Chubb might not be back either. Let's see. Cleveland was without their star running backs against the Patriots, and they got blown out of the water. Dearness Johnson filled in and had a solid performance, but due to the Browns falling so far behind, they had to abandon the run. The situation's not ideal, but it's not the worst news either. There is still hope for Nick Chubb to play Sunday against the Lions. He's easily the best running back in the Browns' backfield and would provide a huge boost. Even so, there is a chance Chubb misses another game due to COVID-19. The Browns, let's see. All right, keep an eye on Nick Chubb as his status will be updated throughout the week. He is vaccinated, so there's a solid chance that the Browns get their star player in the backfield again. If not, look for Dearness Johnson to take the lead role against the Lions. If to be honest, I am not an expert on the protocols, so yeah, a tie is better than a loss, but I know those Lions wanted to win. So I don't know the protocols on that. I'll be watching it because I have them in fantasy football, and so I guess it's probably going to be late in the week before we'll find out if Chubb can play. No Hunt, Nick Chubb iffy, but they got good performance out of the other guy, and they got a solid win this week. I'm still going to go with Cleveland, but that when I get the assigned confidence points, I don't know what I'll put on it because I just don't know, what to think about Chubb's. If it's a real possibility Chubb could play Sunday or not. I mean, I guess it's possible. Rodgers bounced right back, so I don't know. Houston at Tennessee. We got the Texans going up against the Titans. I like Adrian Peterson as a pickup. I thought that was good. Not that we expect Adrian Peterson of old, but at this point in the season, you gotta get you some running, and he's no Derrick Henry, but who is? So, but I thought it was a good pickup for them, and they'll be running by committee. I do like the Titans here. I like them by a lot. I don't think Houston's very good at all. I think that's a good spot for the 15. Green Bay at Minnesota. Yeah, no question. Green Bay. I mean, Minnesota's not bad, but I don't know. In fact, who did they beat this past week? They did a pretty decent job. Green Bay is on a roll. Let's look at some NFL standings. It kind of helped me get my mind. Let me Google some up. I know I'm looking at it on another screen. You won't be able to see it, but so yeah, I mean we got Minnesota at 4-5, Green Bay at 8-2. If you look at it as far as the NFC is concerned, Dallas, Green Bay, and Arizona are the only two teams that only have 2 losses. Minnesota, yeah, 4-5. They're just middle of the road team, whereas I think the Packers are really good. And let's see. Oh, you know what? And it was just a couple weeks ago that I not only picked against Miami, but I put all the confidence points pretty much against them. What game was that? I can't remember. But I think the Jets are terrible. Joe Flacco at quarterback. I'm putting 14 on the Dolphins this week. Let's see here. Aaron is going to dazzle. Victory serves as a healthy distraction to COVID BS. Well, an NFL player killed a human while driving like a maniac, but the world focused on COVID drama instead. Society's broken. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a complicated issue. Probably too much made of the. I don't know. I don't know that people were as frustrated with Rodgers over the COVID part of it as they were the constant lying. I think if he had just let it alone, and I'm not going to get any farther than this, but I'll just say this: if he needs to just let it be, and I think in another week or two it'll just be a story that we talked about, and it'll be out of the news cycle, and nobody will care. That's just my 2 cents on that part. Nobody's canceling him. He's fine. He'll be fine. I just think just let it be for a while, and it'll go away just like everything else that goes on in the news cycle. Let's see. New Orleans at Philadelphia. It's not as easy, and I see everybody picking Philadelphia down here. 55%. What's up with that? So do we not know that's going on with the New Orleans Saints? Is somebody hurt? So let me just see what the headlines are revolving around the Saints. News. Sean Payton shares discouraging news on Taysom Hill. Saints could be in quarterback limbo for some time. This is probably it. So getting 17 starts from Jameis Winston and making an evaluation on whether he could be their future was the only possible stable solution. What's going on here? So injuries, is that what's going on? Who is starting for the Saints? What? Just who is starting QB for Saints? Trevor Siemian to start at quarterback for New Orleans Saints. So that's it. I'm still going with the Saints, but I think that might be a good spot to put the one just because I don't know what's going on there. Washington at Carolina. Carolina's getting picked by a lot. Probably the better pick because I know. Unfortunately, uh, um, Chase Young went down with a season-ending injury. Is Montez Sweat hurt too? Because I've been hearing that I thought somebody else on their defensive line was injured as well. Yeah, Sweat, Young, injured. That is not Sweat placed on injured reserve. He fractured his jaw. That's ugly. And it's a shame because they're such good young players. But yeah, we gotta go with Carolina on that one. San Francisco at Jacksonville. Jacksonville can play some gutty football too. So we got the 49ers. They're hard to peg. Of course, they're one of these middle of the road teams like the Minnesota Vikings. They're about 4-5. They play big some weeks. They play not so big other weeks. Then you got Jacksonville at 2-7. I think you have to go with 49ers here. Well, I'm just not real sure where to put the confidence points. I guess all of this um, uh, teams going back and forth as far as upsets here and there have really got me a little rattled. I don't know how to read some of these teams anymore. Cincinnati at Las Vegas. Raiders. That's another tough one because the Raiders have played flat at times the last several weeks. They've lost 2 in a row. Cincinnati's lost 2 in a row. As soon as Cincinnati hit, what's up with Cincinnati? Because as soon as they got where they were in the number one playoff seed in the NFL, they'd start losing. I think the 49ers maybe aren't as bad as what they're looking. Their record is looking. What do we know about the 49ers quarterback? I think you said last week Garoppolo was. Let's see. Well, I almost had it right there. Garoppolo. Well, yeah, they whooped the Rams. There ain't no doubt about that. They whooped the Rams. So, yeah, 49ers are a good pick over Jacksonville. Might put some confidence points on that, too, especially given how they just clean the Rams' clock. Put 13 there. This one's kind of bugging me though, and I'm noticing that the picks are kind of even on it, and I don't really have a good feel for either team, both on 2-game losing streaks. And what a season the Raiders have had. Coach gets fired. One of their players gets caught up in this horrific. Wow. I hate to call it an accident. I know he didn't mean to do what he did, but when you drink and then drive a car 156 miles an hour and you hit another car so hard that it blows up, just saying it's an accident just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Not for the victim. But right now, I'm looking at news for the Raiders, and it's all about. Looks like it's all about Rugg. 5 Raiders have earned Pro Bowl consideration. That's great. But they just got blown out by the Chiefs, who are starting to find themselves, I think. Don't know what to think here. I think what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the. Jeez, Louise. I think I'm just going to pick the Raiders here. But I'm not putting much on them as far as confidence. I think. Did I use the 1 already? Yeah, I used the 1. Let's use the 2 here. Kansas City versus Dallas. I'm going with Kansas City. But we're going to put the 3 here because Dallas is playing pretty good. Dallas is not a joke either. Look at, like I said, they're one of the 3 teams that have only lost 2 games over in the NFC. And they're riding, well, they're 1-game winning streak. Of course, when they lost 2 weeks ago, it was bad. How much? Yeah, so I'm not going to put much on the Chiefs right there. Let's let them get a few wins. I'm going with Arizona over Seattle. Let's put the 4 here because that could be a battle. Russell Wilson's back. Um, I agree on that. Low confidence on the Raiders game. And low for me, it's going to be low confidence on Arizona because I think they're awfully good. Um, but Russell Wilson's back, and that will. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and that goes a long ways. Let's see, Chargers versus Steelers. This is in Los Angeles. Got good Chargers. Just not really feeling the Steelers. But again, this is going to be low. I think I can put the 5 here because the Chargers aren't I am too, and he's my starting quarterback on one of my fantasy football league teams. Just a solid guy. More than Watson, I wouldn't mind if we're not sticking with Tua. Now, I'm still open to seeing what Tua can do. He's our guy. We drafted him. But if they're going to go away from Tua, I would rather them go in the direction of Russell Wilson than Deshaun Watson. Less trouble, and I don't know how many. I have to look at how old Wilson's getting, but to me, if we're going to make a run here in the next couple of years, uh, and we're not going to stick with Tua, then Wilson would be a good one to bring in. Maybe we bring in Wilson for last few years of his career, and then go Tua. I don't know, but yeah, I like Wilson a lot too. Nobody ends more games in a tie than the Steelers now that you mention it. They do. They do a lot of tie games. Um, that is weird. Let's see here. And then finally, Tampa Bay at New York Giants. Tampa Bay comes back. They are not about to. They have been struggling though, and they started struggling about the time that I really thought they were getting into a really good groove. All right, so they've lost 2 in a row, but they're not going to lose to the Giants. They're just not. So let's go ahead and give them some good confidence points. I'll put 12 on them. And that's the Monday night game? I hate that for the Giants. They're going to get pummeled on national TV. Let's see. Green Bay, we can give them 11. Who else do I like strong on this side? I guess, well, Patriots, 10 on the Patriots, 9 on the Bills. Got the Ravens at Chicago. I've already picked the Ravens, so how bad do I think they're going to beat them? I don't think this game's going to be that close. We'll go 8 here, 7 here, and 6 here. Wilson balls, and he's the leader. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's just so underrated. And maybe that's because he doesn't have a very boisterous personality. But man, I think he's a great quarterback. The Giants went from Super Bowl heroes to annual zeros. Yeah, and some of that's mixed. I mean, they've had a hard time keeping guys healthy. I know Saquon Barkley's the one I first think of. Thinking about all their injury issues. I think Tampa Bay is going to have a good game. I'll put 31 there. The Giants, I don't. All right, we'll say 17. Chargers in Pittsburgh. That might be like a 24-14. Most points this week and fewest points. Well, I know I'm going to go with my old Flacco. Flacco led Jets against Miami Dolphins defense. Yeah, I think we can put the Jets low scoring. Most points though. That's interesting. Could be Green Bay because Vikings, when they played well, they still give up a lot of points. Buffalo, I could see some potential there. Atlanta doesn't play real great defense, but I don't know that New England offense isn't that explosive. I think I think we'll go Green Bay. Let's save those picks. Just quick glance at the fantasy football teams because I won big here. Well, did I win big? Carson Wentz. Yeah, you got to sit down, Carson, because we're putting Russell back in. He's healthy again. Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, like all those guys. Aaron Jones, Cordell Patterson, Darren Waller. All these guys are good. I might look later in the week. Waddle's been playing well. Gesicki's playing well. DeAndre Swift, I may want to try. He's got that question mark again, but he's been banged up all year. But man, when he gets going, he even for playing on a losing team, DeAndre Swift puts up some numbers. Um, Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be coming back soon, but we're not going to start him for a while. I kind of like that lineup. I may revisit that and just look at the matchups later and but in this league, I am 8-2 and in first place. Not bad. So that's my regular league. Then I'm in a keeper league where I've inherited a team that's got a pretty decent starting lineup, but I struggle mightily with my bench because I don't have a lot of good players. We'll just take a brief look at that. I got Garoppolo starting right now because Kyler Murray has been banged up. He's questionable. This will be big. If he misses another game, I'll probably leave Garoppolo in. Of course, we got Hunt out. Tua, he should play, but I don't know if I'll trade him in for Garoppolo or not. But I managed to get this team also to 8-2 and second place. And so we'll just keep working at it. There's not a whole lot I can do with that lineup. And that is pretty much it for fantasy. I'll play with that lineup a little bit. I don't think I have to worry about it too much for tomorrow night because I don't think I have any players really in that game. All right. So we were talking Cardinals are going to need Murray. Yeah, they are. Yeah. I though they've been whooping some people with both Kyler Murray and I'm blanking on the wide receiver's name. Their big wide receiver. He's been out too, and I think I think it was the 49ers. They went and whooped them. And all right, so I'm looking at the news on Kyler Murray. ESPN 6 hours ago put out a article saying Kyler Murray pretty close to returning from ankle injury. Cardinals QB Murray is hopeful he'll be ready to play this Sunday against Seattle Seahawks. He says he's made crazy progress, way further along than I thought it would be. Well, so yeah. Why am I blanking on that wide receiver's name? But he's been banged up too. And it seemed like when they played the 49ers, they had 4 major players that were out. And they still went in there with Colt McCoy and whooped them. And that's kind of looking down through here. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to remember it off the top of my head. You know. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it on the football. So Eric, are you saying that should I go see the Eternals? If I go, I'm going Saturday because I don't want to be. Everybody goes to the movies on Thanksgiving, and I just don't like large crowds like that. I'm not trying to be in a large crowd. I just don't. I'm not agoraphobic or anything like that. I just don't particularly like being crowded. Oh yeah, I think this guy is the real deal. I think he's a great quarterback. Uh, Definitely making the Arizona Cardinals look smart for letting Rosen go and picking him up. Yeah, I think if I go anywhere, it'll be this weekend. Looks pretty awesome on the big screen. Yeah, I want to see it. There's actually a number of movies I want to see, but I've got a pretty big TV. I usually am pretty cool with waiting for most movies to come here. But that I will admit, I kind of want to see the James Bond movie. Um, there were a couple of other ones. Baxter Theater. I just, if I do anything, I want to do it this weekend because I just know so many people go on Thanksgiving. I'd rather be home. So, like Baxter Theater right now, it's got Dune, got Brian Wilson. I didn't know they had a long promise for it. I didn't know they had a. I'm not a big Beach Boys fan. I didn't know they were working on a film for him. The Eternals, No Time to Die. The rest, I have no interest in. Certainly, certainly not Clifford the Big Red Dog. I don't know. I'm sure it's good for kids, but not for me. You're going to take off. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out with me. Probably back on Tuesday night next week. Um, Last night, of course, the plumber came in and well, he called me as soon as I got off of the little announcement I made, and they were done. And but at that point, I had dinner going and everything. And but we'll be back on Tuesday night next week. So you have a good night, buddy. And I think I'll probably wrap it up here then. And yeah, good, always good hanging out with you. And we'll see you next week, hopefully, if you can make it. And for anybody that's maybe watching this back, hope you have a great week. And we'll see you soon. Peace.